Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, I got the chef coat on today. We're going to do a real quick cooking video for you. It's the day after New Year's. It's January 2nd. I hope y'all had a good holiday. I know I did. For Christmas, my wife bought me this chopper. It's a KitchenAid chopper. I don't get paid by KitchenAid, but that's what we're going to use today. And today we're going to be making butter, as it says in the title, of course. I know you're probably thinking, well, why do we need to make butter? We're not Amish, you know. But I was a career chef for over 30 years, and we always took it for granted that butter was always just in the cooler. We'd go get the butter, use it for whatever we had to make, and that was it. We never, a lot of people don't stop and realize where butter came from. I mean, you're probably thinking right now where butter comes from. You know, it comes from cream. And you're probably picturing an old Amish lady sitting there with one of those churns for hours trying to make a batch of butter. Well, when I got my KitchenAid chopper, I really wanted to use it that night. I'm like, oh, so I'm looking around for things. What can I chop up? What can I chop up? And I had all the food prep already done for our Christmas dinner, so there really wasn't anything to make. But I did have some leftover heavy whipping cream in the refrigerator, and I'm like, I know I can make butter out of that. So, first time in my life I actually made butter, and it's very simple. 2 ingredients: heavy whipping cream and salt. This is Himalayan sea salt today. You can use any kind of salt you want to. But this is how easy this is. When I made it, it took me 12 minutes. So all you got to do is, this is the kind of blade I'm using if you have a food processor. I would imagine you'd probably make it in a blender, but it would probably be harder. Today we're just using the food processor that I got for Christmas. We're just going to pour, this is a pint. I'm going to open it up. And you can get this at a grocery store too. And you might be sitting there thinking, well, why do I want to make butter? You know, when you can buy it on the shelf. But that's a totally legitimate question. Pour this in there. I was saying the same thing. I just wanted to make something. So I just tried it for the heck of it. But then when it came out, it was so good. It was like better than store-bought butter. And I'm thinking this is a great thing for the holidays to put on the table to go with those hot rolls. You know, the buns you heat up in the oven, you open up and the hot comes out. I love those. This butter is fresh. It doesn't get any fresher than this. Like I said, I got my heavy cream in there. We're going to put about a half a teaspoon of salt in there. Now, if you're using table salt, you might want to use a little less. I believe table salt's a little more stronger. It's also with the granules that stuck together. So I put a half a teaspoon of sea salt in there. So I made this, and when it came out, I tasted it. It was really going to whenever I tasted it anyway. And so I put it on the table for the holiday just for the heck of it. My daughter made fun of me because I like to make everything as much as possible from fresh when I can. You know, I like the fresh vegetables, anything fresh, anything from scratch. Even my bread, I make bread from scratch for the holidays and stuff like that. So she said to me jokingly a couple years ago, she's like, what are you going to do next, churn your own butter? You should have seen her face, and she realized I actually did. So we got our ingredients in here, and what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to turn it on. It's 2 settings on this one. I got chop and puree. I'm going to go turn on puree, I think is what I used. And it's going to take about 12 minutes, and I'm going to show you the stages. I'm going to skip ahead. You don't have to sit here at 12 minutes or watch this spin. But let's get started on this. Okay, it's been about 2, maybe 3 minutes. I wasn't really timing myself. I just want to take a peek at it and show you guys. Let me zoom in. Don't know if I can get this all on the camera or not. But if you see, it is now whipped cream. I'm getting the stiff peak. See how it's getting creamier? It's on my spatula there. It is now whipped cream. That is the first stage. If I wanted to use this for a pie or something, I could add a little sugar in it right now and be done with the whipped cream. But we're going to go a little bit further. After that 2 minutes, we're going to go a little bit further. So I'm going to put the lid back on here. And I'm going to keep doing it until it turns to butter. I'll give you a little peek here. It's not quite done, but look, there's butter right there. And you see all the way to drain that liquid off. I'm going to run this for another 30 seconds, and then I'll show you what to do next. Okay, that's about as good as we're going to get it, I think. I'll give you a quick peek of this. Take it off the base. Now look at that butter in there. I mean, that is a fluffy butter right there. It's going to be good. Now, like I said, we have to drain that butter, and that is actually buttermilk we're going to drain right now off of this. I got myself a little colander, and I like using stainless steel pans. You can use whatever you want. But We're going to take our blade out. We want to get this in here. We want to strain all the buttermilk off of it, which is what we're going to do now. It's a little bit messy, but if you're careful, you'll see the buttermilk coming out. And we get our butter itself. I'm going to put it in there. This come out nice too. Get it all out, put it in there. It likes to, kind of hard to get out. A little bit messy too. That's why I got some gloves sitting here. We're going to be using those next. Alright, I'm not going to sit here and fiddle with that too much more. Normally I'd get in there and get everything out. So here's this, put that there. And I got a little bit on my table, but my table and my fingers are clean. So that's that. And you can see it's draining all that buttermilk out, nice yellow color. And this is actually buttermilk. If you have a recipe that calls for, oh, that's about 3/4 of a cup of buttermilk I got out of there so far. Now you don't have to use gloves for this if you don't want to, otherwise you're going to get all over your hands. So I always use gloves when I do that. This. I mean, of course, wash your hands, absolutely. So we've got our butter right here. All we're going to do is just make it into a ball and squeeze that stuff out. See, there's still buttermilk in there. Just get it out best you can. And this is my wife's butter dish. Just put it right here in the middle. And there you go, ball of butter. It tastes really good on the rolls. Spreads nice. It is delicious. That's all there is to it. It took me about 12 minutes total. Only 2 ingredients. Heavy whipping cream and salt. So like I said, there's butter there for a holiday dinner, or if you just want to make it for yourself. Another good thing you could do is you could put some cinnamon sugar in there and have the kind of butter you get like at a steakhouse. You could put, you can make garlic butter, put some garlic powder in there. Any kind of herb butter you can think of, just throw your herbs in there whenever it starts to separate. And pretty much experiment. I mean, so many things you can put in butter. I like garlic butter. I like the cinnamon sugar butter. Those are about the only two I like. But I'm sure if you have any ideas, leave them in the comments. Yes, I'm still trying to get my voice back. If you have any other ideas, go ahead and leave them in the comments. And I'd like to hear what you guys do with this. I know it's simple. I know it's something you can just buy at the grocery store. But when it's fresh like this, it's a whole different flavor pattern. You can cook with it. It's butter. You can do anything you want with it. So I hope you enjoyed my video. Like, subscribe. If you haven't heard about my Facebook page yet, it's called Former Fat Guy in the Tiny Kitchen. It's on Facebook. Now I know I'm kind of fat now, but it used to be Fat Guy in the Tiny Kitchen when I was over 300 pounds. Then I lost about 100 pounds, so I renamed it Former Fat Guy. That was when I was down to about, I don't know, I think 187 was the lowest I got. And then I obviously gained some back. I'm about 225 right now. I just enjoy my food. I can't help it. And I'm not blaming COVID. I'm not blaming it. It's just laziness, and I just really like food. So I hope this helps. I hope you can use it someday for a holiday or just for the heck of it. Anyway, thanks, and I'll see you real soon. Okay, I got to put a disclaimer on the end of this because I rushed myself and I left out a couple important steps and facts for you. Remember when we took the butter out of the mixer and I strained it in the colander? One step I forgot to do, and I completely forgot about it because I get a little anxious on these videos. But then again, my videos are never perfect, so what do you expect? Very important though, when you put it in the colander and you drain your buttermilk off, go over to the sink, run some cold water, as cold as you can get the water coming out of the sink. Don't use hot because it'll melt the butter. And you want to rinse that butter off and get as much of that buttermilk off as possible. The more buttermilk you get off of the butter, the longer it's going to keep before it spoils, because it will spoil. This butter will spoil earlier than the store-bought butter because there's no preservatives in it. So after you do that, then you can roll it in a bowl like we did and put it on your butter dish and put it in the refrigerator. I recommend if you're going to keep, now that's for using it the same day for a meal or something. If you're going to store it, put it in an airtight container in your refrigerator. And the reason you do that is this butter will soak in any odor in your refrigerator. So if you put it next to onions, your butter's going to taste like onions. It's just like, kind of like tofu takes up every year. Of course, who the hell eats tofu? But just for the sake of argument, just like tofu will incorporate any flavor next to it and become that, this butter has a tendency to absorb the odors. That's about all I wanted to say. It should keep about 5 days for you. Try and keep it in the refrigerator. If you know you're going to use it for a meal, you're going to pull it out, leave it come down in temperature so it's easier to spread. And that's about it. I'm out of your face now. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Catch me on Former Fat Guy in the Tiny Kitchen on Facebook for other things. We're going to start, we have a forum there. It's been there a couple years, and I'd like to make it a little bit better. So I hope to see you there. Thanks for watching, guys.